Cultism among Nigerian youths remain serious societal issues affecting educational institutions, communities, and the nation at large. Over the years, these secret groups have transformed from simple fraternities into violent organizations involved in crimes, drug abuse, and deadly clashes. Many youths join cult groups due to peer pressure, a desire for power, financial incentives, or sense of belonging. Unfortunately, the ripple effect of cultism has led to premature death, academic disruptions, and a lifetime of regret. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us on another interesting episode. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa, and this is Youth Connect. Now let's go on a short break, and when we return, you get to meet my guests, and then we'll go into the discussion proper after this break. Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us on Youth Connect, coming to you from our studios here in Abuja. Now, joining me in the studio is Amos Bawa Gebano. He's a teacher and a clergy, the executive director of Anti-Cultism Initiative and other threats to students and youth in Africa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me around. Thank you, all the guests.
Yeah, so,
thank you, viewers.
Yeah, last week, or should I say 2 weeks back, we talked about cultism, and it's good that we are having an expert, someone that has a foundation that advocates for, cultism in Nigeria. Yeah. Can you give us an overview of how cultism even started in Nigeria in the first place?
Well, I think the common story we know about cultism started way back in 1952, then by Professor Woloshenka with 6 other people. We call them the Magnificent Seven. They started in the University of Ibadan. Actually, it didn't start as a violent group. It's like an advocacy group. People that came up to fight against colonialism, elitism, tribalism, and all that. So they actually start as a violent fraternity. It's just an advocacy, trying to get to know better our society, and then encourage the student to give more, and then fight against colonialism in the nation. So I think this is the overview of how it started actually back then in 1952.
So, but at what point did it now become so violent that we see, what plays out on our screens?
When it started, then actually, as I've said before now, there was a standard for you to be part of the fraternity. That is a pirate confraternity. There is a standard, educational standard, moral standard. All the standards we are put in place. Then it happened that at the time, some could not meet up to the standard, and they were expelled out of it, like Bolaji Kariu. So he went out and formed a rival cult group called Bukania, Association of Nigeria Band. So it is, anytime you have a rival group of any movement, expect clashes, expect superiority, fight for superiority. That's actually how it started. That's where, from there, other cult groups begin to come up. So everybody wants to take charge, take control. Everyone wants to be a superior one over the other. So that's how they get to where we are today.
Okay, so what are the reasons that, many youths now join cult groups in Nigeria? I know that it's not just Nigeria, it's all over the world. It's just different maybe for other countries, but mainly Nigeria now. What are the reasons? Because you have a foundation that...
Well, there are so many reasons. There are so many reasons, because as I'm standing as a youth, you cannot intimidate me. You cannot intimidate. So there are many youths. I should have gone from the family setting, but let's look at it this way. When it started then, as I told you, there was a standard to be a member of the pirate confraternity.
Yeah.
But some people who could not meet the standard were expelled, and they formed a rival cult. Now, because I formed a rival cult, so there is a fight for superiority in the campus and in the society. Now, some youth who are not part of this cult group, they feel inferior, so they are called a Jew, and therefore they want to belong. And there are so many deceptions. There are so many deceptions that came to play. Some people believe if you're a cultist, you'll be wealthy, you'll make it easily in school. Of course, and it happens. You discover that students who don't even write exam because they belong to one cult or the other, they intimidate the lecturers, and then they want to make it. So they carry intimidation. So there are so many things to it. Number two, there is what you call revenge. Or for instance, let me come back, let me localize it. There are so many people that join cult because they want to take a revenge. Let me give you an example. There is this young man who is dating a gentle young man, dating a lady, and then very beautiful girl. And then this cult guy who believed that he's a big boy in campus came around, intimidated this guy, and took away this girlfriend from him. And the guy feel intimidated. He felt intimidated. So some other guy approached him. He said, what's the problem? He said, this guy came, look at my babe, he took her away and all that. And this guy is a member of the IA confraternity. And then they encourage him, they say, if he join them, they will help him to bring back his girl. And actually he joined them. He joined the rival cult. And the clashes started. So that because he wanted to get. So what he did was actually want to take revenge. And some of you believe that it is when you join cult, you make it in life. They were deceived that cultism is a means of success, which actually we know is a means of destruction. Why some, as I told you, join it because of their academic performance. They are not doing very well in the campus. But they were promised that if you join us, we'll make sure that you come out with a higher grade. Some, peer pressure. Peer pressure. And it's happening right now in our society. That is a common problem we have now. When you get to the school, even in secondary school, you see some group of boys working together in a group, and you are there, you are not part of them. And then you get intimidated. They intimidate you every now and then. And you don't want that intimidation. You don't want that intimidation. So all you can do now is they will now pressurize you to be part of them. And that peer pressure is a very, very, very serious problem that has lured a lot of youth into this cult activity.
Do you think if peer pressure definitely plays a part in this, but do you think for those that are also joining have the will to want to join, not because their peers are actually tempting them or, just to see that they gain power or they belong to this big boys group, like you said?
Yes, there are two ways about it. One, some people just they want to join, as we said, because they want to belong. Why so we are forced to join? If I thought we are forced to join at gunpoint. You don't understand. What they do is, for example, the way they lure you, they entice you. For example, if you got admission in the university for the first time, get to the campus, these guys, they know who is the Jew. They know who are just coming in. Those students are just coming in. So they will just approach you. They say, boy, you are just coming to the campus. Say, yes. Have you done your registration and all that? You say, don't worry, we're going to do everything for you. Just sit down. They will take you to their hostel. They will make you comfortable. They will give you everything you want. They will collect all your document. Do everything for you. Do the registration, everything for you. And after they have done all that, they will now introduce themselves. Some students will even go back and say, Mommy, the kind of student
I met nice people.
They are very nice. Look at what they give me. They give me this, they give me that. They are too nice. And the mother will be feeling, my son, I've gotten some angels who at least taking care of him in the school. But this guy, they are nicer even than the moral ones. Very nice. And before you know, they will entice you with all these things to join them.
The pleasure, the privileges.
Yes, but getting to know it might be late. You can't go back because once you join, you hardly come out.
So, but how do these groups operate? What are their structure like? Well,
depend on the group. First, you have the IA. These are the senior cults. We have the Buccaneer, we have the Pirate, we have the Sky Lulu, we have the Scavengers, we have the
Black Axe and the rest?
The Black Axe, those are the common ones. We have the Vikings. We have the Maffites. We have the Mafias. So many of them. We have the Black Brazil among the girls. We have the Bella. We have the Daughters of Eve. We have the...
I mean, it's just a lot.
So many of them.
So many of them.
So their operation differs. You see, the common one, the black axe, that is the Ayeko fraternity, and the Vikings, they have their foot soldiers. They have their foot soldiers everywhere. You know, initially it was in the campus. Now we have what is called, the most dangerous one is what we call the community cultism. We call it the street boys, the street cultists. Now, their operation is in secret. You hardly understand their operation. Because there are some of them that work in group.
Yeah.
They always move in group. So, because they call them secret cult. Now, when they are communicating, they have the way of communicating. They have their signs. Cultists can just come in here and begin to greet themselves. And
they just make a sign and they understand what
yes, they understand what it says. They will just, when they greet, and there are kind of greeting they do. If you are ignorant, you will not actually know they are cultists. So the way they operate is very complicated and very complex because they have their slangs, they have the way of greeting, and they have the way of talking to each other using their eyeballs. So the operation is secrecy.
Yeah. So, but like you mentioned, it's enticing. Should I say enticing? It's surprising to see that women are also still, you know, being part of cultism at this point. You mentioned a couple of them. Do they also operate like the male cultists?
Well, the female cultists are like the spies. They are the spies. One, their function is to satisfy the male cultist. Two, if a cultist wants to get you, he uses the female cult, and you are gone. They use it like spies. For example, a cultist, like the black axe, they have the black brazier. That is the female part of it. Like the juries, they have the white angels. You understand? Now, if a black axe wants to go for a hit, whenever I say, they say, let's go for a hit. If they want to go for a hit, they use a female cult. She will go out and spy around to make sure where these boys are hanging. She can even date the rival cult.
Without them knowing.
They will send her.
Yes, without the rival cult.
Yes, without the rival. So she will date them. Maybe there is one of the hitman among the rival cult.
And they want to get him.
They want to get him down. So what they do is they use one of the female cult. And then before you know, she's coming around, you know, trying to entice this guy and all that. But one thing with those guys too also, they are always very careful. The kind of ladies they date. Because they know it's a trap. So they will use those. So the female cultists are very, very dangerous. Because they can get you anytime.
Anywhere. Yeah.
So that's how.
So, but what are some common, you know, methods they use to initiate new members into their groups? Like the rituals they do, because, you know, for some we see some kind of rituals that is just out of place.
Well, the ritual they have process. It's a long process. Because sometimes during the initiation, they will take you to the bush. Some they will take you to the riverside. Some they will take you to the mountain. And it's like, it's a rigorous thing. Sometimes, okay, let me give this little example. Sometimes they will just, those that are going to initiate, they will just, maybe you're up to 10 here. They will just collect blood for every one of you. And then they will mix up the blood together. And they will give everybody to test that.
Blood of an animal or
human. Wow. If there are maybe 10 cultists here, you know why they do that? Let me say this to you. Let me tell you why they do that. If there are 10 here now, they will collect the blood from everyone, and they'll mix the blood together, and they'll give everybody to test out of the blood. Now, when you do that, anytime you want to renounce, you say you don't want to be part of them, say go back and return that blood you took. Sometimes they will cook with it, and everybody will eat out of it. And the initiation is so rigorous because sometimes they will tear your back with knives.
Yeah, to give you signs.
Yes.
Or
they will use axe.
Yeah.
Sometimes they will use axe and give you their 7 sign and so many things. They have what is called odeshi. the charm they put in their body. During that initiation, some people will even die. They will bury you there.
Is it that bad?
Yes. So most of them don't survive during the initiation. You will die there, and they will bury you there. Sometimes if 10 youth go for initiation, maybe only 4 or 5 will survive. Some will die there. But there are certain things you don't mention.
Yeah.
Even as I'm talking, there are certain things I don't say.
You cannot say, yeah.
I cannot say it on there because you don't know who and who
is watching actually.
Yes,
but let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll continue this discussion. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us on Youth Connect, coming to you from our studios here in Abuja. Now, before we went on the break, we're actually talking deep into, cultism and how it even started and what are the things that we are seeing, the obvious signs. But what role does family upbringing plays in youth's involvement in cultism?
Very well. Before I go into that, I want to say something. There's a particular there was a particular time some people went for initiation. They were initiating some youth. And then some little boys and little girls, they came with money and they were begging that they should be initiated at the initiation ground.
When you say little boys, what are the age
Primary
range
school level, 7 years, 8 years. They were begging with money that they should be initiated. Now, going back to the family, that is where the problem started. That's where the failure. The family is a very important institution in our nation. Once the family failed, every institution may not survive it. Because the family is the bedrock. The family is the foundation for every society to be healthy, morally upright. Now, a lot of families have failed in that area. And that is why you discover we have this problem rampant everywhere. Because parents have thrown away their responsibility to the caregivers. They don't know anything about their children. And these children grow wayward without parental care. And that is where the major problem lies. There is what is called moral decadence in our society. Why? Because parents never pay attention to their children. These days our parents always believe that I want let my child go to school, become educated. I want you to be a great man. I want you to acquire all the certificate. My dear, he can get all the certificate, but he will not use any of it.
Yeah, and he may not even be in school without you knowing. We have
a lot of finalist students who are gone down, just coming out of the hall. Some finish exam, they are going out of the gate. They shut them down. They shot them. Medical student, 2 years ago, a medical student was shot in a party.
Is he part of a cult?
Yes, he's part of the cult. So there is he went for a party, and there was a problem with the rival cult. He was shot. So all these are parental negligence, and that is where the problem lies. And can I tell you something? From all our investigation and our interaction with parents, we discover parents now are even scared of their children.
Definitely.
There are parents now that who confide on me that they are scared of they cannot talk to their children. I know a child that took cutlass. He wanted to behead his father's head. I was called. I have to go there to rescue the situation. The guy was on drugs. So, parental upbringing is very, very vital in curtailing cultism in our society. So parents need to sit up.
Yeah. So we know that it's been playing out, in schools and even communities. But is it also working for some people in the workspace?
Of course. Places of work. Now let me tell you, we have categories of these cult groups. We have those who are the lords. The lords. These are big guys in the offices. All they do is they dish out money to carry out the operation. There is no sector of society those people are not found. There is no sector in this country that they are not found. In every sector. In fact, in the church, in the mosque, they are there. Everywhere you go, they are there. So, in the workplace, in the school, in the community, in the church, in the mosque, everywhere these guys are evil.
So, but what connection do cultists have with politics?
Wow. I can tell you something here that in Nigerian politics, the kind of politics we practice in Nigeria, where you will see people being murdered, people being killed, those boys they are using, they are called boys. It came to a time in this country that if you don't belong to a cult, you hardly contest and win an election.
Now, currently, or before now?
Before now, currently now. And I'm saying this thing so that everybody will know that this is how rotten our society is. They use these boys during politics. Once it is time for campaign. Because why am I saying that? Because I'm involved in advocacy. I've been with these guys, and they make a lot of confessions. How do they will be a local government chairman will give them money to go and attack his rival, and then because the local government chairman is their capone or their lord, he sent them to do whatever they want to do. So there is a connectivity between politics and cultism in Nigerian system.
So you talked about, I know that you have a foundation where you advocate for, anti-cultism in Nigeria. How many youths have you sensitized so far, and how many are working with you?
Well, we have a lot of them that we have sensitized, and we have a lot of them that are working with us. And the reason is, sometimes some of them that are working with us are being careful. They are being careful. And we have gone to a lot of secondary schools, we've gone to universities, in our communities. I mean, these guys we are talking about, they are not spirits. Let's understand. And they are not people we should avoid. They are not people we should avoid. Because they need help. Can I tell you something? Some of them used to come to us that they need help, that they are tired, they want to come out. But they are scared. They want to come out. So, in fact, around us, we have them. We talk to them almost every day. We talk to them, we counsel them. So, in fact, the number of cult boys we have spoken to, we have advocated, we can't mention them. There are many. There are many.
So, how did you get their trust to even allow you to, come to them and interact with them like this?
Yes. Why we buy their trust, or they buy our trust, can I say? Because one, we don't go after them. We come, in our organization, we have both the Muslims and the Christians. We are like the clergies.
Yeah.
Come around, talk to them. See, they know us. I have a friend, we call him Malam. We work together. And then we get to these boys. I say, come. This thing you are doing is too bad. We are not here to fight you. We were here to help you out of it. And then, when they discover that you are so sincere, you are ready to help, they open up. And the reason why they open up is because they discover that there are some that open up and we're able to help them out of it. And they like secrecy. If you can keep their secret, they will open up to you. So when they discover that we are doing this advocacy, we go to schools. After the advocacy, they will come to us and they will begin to confess that I have been in cult for so years, and this I have done so far. Please, I want to come out. So will tell you that they are tired of killing. One say he's tired of killing. He has been an emeritus. And you know that before you become an emeritus in a cult, you must bring down some lives. And so
they have levels?
Yes, they have levels. And some of the horror they saw when they go for a hit get them scared. And some of them will really come around and say, I want to renounce cultism.
So how do they fund their activities that they stay in operations? Do they tend to, victimize the people in the communities that they live in?
They go into robbery. In the particular community I stay before now, you see them in their hundreds. They go from house to house. They will collect their laptop, collect your phone. In fact, there was a time they came to a young guy. He bought recharge card, tried to recharge his phone. They wanted to collect the phone, he refused, and they stabbed him here. When they stabbed him, he felt that he was bleeding. And do you know why this guy was bleeding? They said, one down, one down. Where's the second one? They are proud of it. They are proud of it. So they will go for robbery, collect phones, collect money. These are how. And then the people that also sponsor them, they buy this gun and give to these guys. They also give them money. We get them among the assassins. Once somebody hits you, he uses call boys. So they go into serious robbery, and that is how they make their money.
Well, this discussion is actually very intense, and thank you so much, Mr. Amos, for taking out your time to be part of this conversation. I definitely know we're going to bring you back again because there's a lot to actually dissect on this topic. We can't do it in just one day. Yeah. Well, we've been talking to Amos Bawa Gebano. He's a teacher and a clergy, the executive director of Anti-Cultism Initiative and Other Threats to Students and Youths in Africa. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this is where we come to the end of today's episode. Do join us again next week for another interesting episode on Youth Connect. Don't forget to stay safe out there, and please don't be a part of any cult, just for security reasons. And I remain Fatima Ahmed Musa. Bye for now.